All right, here we are, Impact and Influence Radio right here on iHeart, and today's broadcast is brought to you by Blinds of Sacramento, Sacramento's complete solution window covering experts. Give them a call, 916-790-8689 or blindsofsacramento.com. Now today, we've got a gentleman here, Brian Bearden. Did I pronounce that right?
That is accurate.
Brian Bearden, and we're going to be talking a little bit about creating wealth and taking our life to the next level. How you doing, brother?
Amazing. Having such a beautiful day today.
Absolutely. Bring that mic towards me again about another inch.
Let's try that.
Perfect.
Right there.
Done.
How's that?
That's perfect. All right. So we've got to kind of, this is going to be tricky because we got to kind of dance around some things here for compliance. So let's really start with you. Who is Brian Bearden?
Well, Brian Bearden lives in El Dorado Hills.
Oh, you're local here.
I am. I've got two other siblings that have lived here since the mid-'90s and have loved this area for a really long time. And my wife and I lived in Chicago for 17 years and had a 5-year-old daughter at the time and decided we wanted to be warm again, which sounded so nice after being in Chicago for so long.
Isn't the weather here amazing?
Oh, my gosh. Every day in the winter coming outside in California, it just makes me so happy.
I know. We have patio furniture all year round.
I have stuff in my backyard that never gets blown away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just always there.
Well, when we have a storm, the storm isn't even really a storm. Like, we just had our storm and we had, 5 minutes of hail?
Right. It was exciting. You know, it was like, hey, everybody come out and check out the hail. Yay. You know, we didn't move anything in.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't take anything down, you know.
The lightning was good, though. We had good lightning. Was it last Thursday?
It was great.
We had a beautiful lightning storm.
That was exciting.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was so funny because we were coming home from a networking event. I had just stopped at Mom's and Dad's in Elk Grove. And so you could see the lightning in the distance, but it wasn't raining yet. I had my sunroof open, the whole thing. And do you remember in the movie Twister when the lightning and you saw the tornado in the distance?
Great scene.
Oh my God. That's what it was like because, you know, you're looking out and there's nothing out there, you know, and you're taking Grant Line to El Dorado. And so the lightning and all of a sudden there's like, it seemed like it was like 200 feet away. It was just this white wall. And I'm like, oh, that's not good.
That's a little scary.
As soon as I closed the sunroof, it was just buckets. And the thing that was crazy is the lightning. I've got some great video, but the lightning was like every 2 seconds it was lightning, right?
Amazing.
And the rain was sideways.
Right.
And then about a mile down the road, it was sideways the other way.
Forrest Gump style.
Yes, but it was coming in from both sides sideways. And that was that warm air, cold air coming at the same time.
Like two separate storms meeting up.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful, dude. It was the coolest thing. We never get that up here.
Yeah. I think the coolest storm I ever saw was while I was in the Marine Corps, and we were on a Navy ship that went out to the Persian Gulf for 6 months and then was floating back. And on the way back, we got caught in a monsoon with this lightning storm that filled up the entire horizon in a 360 around you.
Yeah.
So there were moments where the lightning was striking and you could follow it almost in a 360 all the way around.
That's insane.
And then when it would go away, it would just be completely black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and then the whole sky would then light up. And
see, Colorado, I liked the thunderstorms in Colorado. They had some cool stuff.
Really?
Man. Oh yeah, because they hit the funnel clouds and all the whole thing.
Yeah, big sky clouds.
Oh man, and we were at a Colorado Rockies game. This is like the summer of '94 or something. 95, and so we're at a Colorado Rockies game and the tornado warning goes on and the whole thing, and I'm thinking, how do you evacuate 40,000 people, you know?
Slowly.
It was nuts. Yeah, we all just kind of just went to the hot dog stand and just got out of the way, and it went away. We didn't end up having a tornado, but goodness, man, it was nuts.
At least you got a hot dog out of it.
We got hot dogs, yeah. All right,
so
outside of that, what do you do, brother?
I'm a life insurance agent and a financial planner.
Okay.
And you know what's funny about it is when I first got into this field, I had a really strong stigma against life insurance. You know, I didn't have any family members that had life insurance. You know, when our family died, you just incorporated the living person back into someone's family and they became a dependent, and you know, then
a lot of people learn about life insurance from like forensic files. Right.
Much too late, right? After you need it. And So I was never brought up to speed on how useful it can be because I never saw it applied usefully, And so for me, going into this industry, what was exciting for me was becoming a financial planner and investment advisor. And the life insurance thing was just like, it's just a tool for the base layer. I'm not really going to focus on that much.
I think the life insurance is a very important part of the grieving process. The family, you pass away. First of all, your family has to figure out how to get into all your crap.
Right.
So you got to figure out where all the passwords are.
Where you're lucky if you even know how to get into it all,
Everything that I have, ironically, everything that I have is in code. And there's only one person that knows the code, and that's my best friend. So my best friend, when I pass, is supposed to give everything to my wife.
Nice. You got a plan.
I do, yeah. And then from that, the next piece of that is what happens with the finances. Who's going to make the mortgage payment? Who's going to make the car payment? Who's going to make the other insurance payments? Insurance is expensive. It's a mortgage now.
It is.
When you're talking about all the different insurances that you need, your car insurance is $300-$400 a month. When you start adding it all up, you're $1,200-$1,500 a month in insurance.
On the low end.
And so, who's going to cover all these expenses? And that's where the life insurance comes in. Let the insurance pay for the insurance.
No, it gives you time to grieve.
And do what you need.
Right.
And okay, so let's say that you don't want to have a big funeral. Let's say that you don't want to be buried. Let's say that you don't want to do any of these things. You still have a responsibility to take care of your family and make sure that those things are taken care of.
Exactly. And I mean, we think about things like, I can't really afford life insurance. Well, that's a sure indicator that you can't afford not to have it either.
Yeah, but life insurance really, let's be honest. I mean, there's policies that are $25 a month. They're crap, but there's something.
Exactly. I was helping a mother of her 18-year-old get a policy set up, and she got a $300,000 policy for $18 a month. And now there's just that one thing. If something happens, she's taken care of.
Yeah.
In case, she needs time to recover. Like, I mean, if I lost a child, I don't think I could recover in less than a year. I'm going to be down and dark for a long time. Yeah. So I need a cushion,
Remember the guy who, the guy's daughter was like raped and murdered or something, and they were transporting him in the airport.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so they were like extraditing him somewhere. And so the dad was standing at one of the payphones and literally just took care of him right then and there.
No way.
Inside the airport and just got it out of the way. That's essentially, that's a very, and if I remember correctly, I don't even think the guy ended up going to prison. I think the judge.
Unreal.
I think the judge was just like. I mean, he probably spent 3 or 5 years in jail waiting for his trial, but the judge, I think, was just like, I would have probably done the same thing.
Yeah, extenuating circumstances, let's say.
We're gonna leave it alone.
Right.
I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah,
but
that's
think,
not Plan A.
But yes, but I think we would all be in that space.
Yeah, it's that kind of devastating where it's going to put you in a place where you're not going to feel normal. You need to recover from it.
And that again is where the life insurance could come in and help that.
Right.
Maybe the other thing was you're the person that passed away, daughter, mom, whatever. Maybe her whole goal was she wanted the entire family to go to Disneyland, or wanted the entire family to go to holiday in Hawaii,
right?
Or something
or
like
get
that.
A college education.
Something, right?
Exactly.
And so, and now you can do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later in life, I've met people who actually had family members with life insurance, and they shared with me the impact that had on them and how it enabled them to have a life they would have never had otherwise, where they would have stayed in poverty or stayed being a dependent on someone else, and I think a lot of times we think of insurance as what's the least amount I need to cover the costs and expenses of things, right? And someone who grew up in poverty, like I did, I grew up in, so the feeling of...
I grew up with everything, all the toys, but I didn't have any of the stuff that I needed, the love, the clothes, the food, We didn't but we had all the toys.
At least you had that going for you, But when you don't have enough food in the cupboard at the end of the month...
We would get disciplined for eating.
you feel that, right? If you're eating more than once a day, or not allowed to eat more than once a day.
We had so little food in the house that I would come home from school hungry because we didn't get lunch money.
Right.
And so we would come home from school hungry, and then I would be eating children's Tylenol or whatever I could find in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or shoplift and steal, pies from the gas station.
When you're hungry, you resort to what you need
were my
to.
Parents?
Right. And coming from a place of poverty, I always thought about insurance as what's the least amount I need.
What do you think the least amount somebody needs for a life insurance policy? In all honesty.
I think that you should take a really good hard look at one of two things.
Your debt.
Either your debt and how much you owe and what your liabilities are, right? What your family needs to survive without you for X amount of years, right? The goal is like, hey, let's set them up for the next 10 years to not worry about losing your income.
Well, not only that, what if you've got a mortgage? You've got you have $500,000 house and you owe $350,000 on that house. And now
that becomes your new bare minimum.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're going to at the very least, it's not, I can make the mortgage payment. Yeah. For how long?
Right.
Right. And so what if your life insurance policy was $350,000 and that money gets put into some sort of investment account, and then you can pull from that money to at least make the mortgage payment each month. So now all you're paying is living expenses instead of your mortgage payment.
Right. It's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but one of my wife and I's biggest struggles and stresses comes down to money. Our budgeting, what we're budgeting for, what we're spending it on.
We've never had that issue.
No. Now, it
even
doesn't create the strife it used to, but it's still stressful.
Business owners is tough, especially, going into COVID, and it's like, okay, we can't run the business. How are we going to pay the bills? My wife never thought about that.
That's great.
We've never had the money issues.
You understand you're an outlier, right?
What's that?
You're an outlier, meaning you're not normal.
Or I'm outright lying.
Or you're lying, right? You're either outlier or outlying.
Yes.
One of the two, for sure. I would say most relationships struggle when it comes to talking about money and budgeting money and agreeing on what the budget should be for.
That's
and
so
towards,
funny. No, my wife and I, this is my wife saying it. I mean, I could put her on the phone right now and she'll say it. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much money you spend. All I care about is are the bills paid.
Yeah, that matters.
And so we had Porsches at one point in our lives, and we've never stressed on the money. I mean, you buy the Porsche, and now the money gets tight, and then you sell the Porsche.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
You live life,
Just don't brag about that to all your friends because they're gonna hate you for it. Yeah, maybe not a way to win friends, but certainly impressive nonetheless.
Here I am on the show telling the world I'm naive. Okay, maybe I'm naive, but that's we've never had money fights ever.
That's great.
I don't think we've ever had a money fight.
That's great. Now, what would happen if your income went away? Like you got sick, you get cancer, you're down for the next 5 years, you can't do this job.
That changes everything.
Where's that income coming from?
That changes everything. We'd have to figure that out.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a way to mitigate that.
Okay. And so talk to me about that.
There's a way to fix that. Okay. There's a way to identify.
Is that where the financial planning comes in?
Absolutely.
Done.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this.
Right. So that's where you identify how much do I have that I absolutely have to have. It is non-negotiable.
Okay.
How much money do I need every month that's non-negotiable? Is that $9,000 after taxes? Is that $6,000? What is that number?
Can you believe that we're even talking about these numbers at this point? Like with inflation?
Right.
I know.
Indeed.
Can you imagine I
don't know about you, but I need like $10,000 a month after taxes to pay my non-negotiables.
I know. No, seriously.
Right.
It's crazy.
So for me to lose that income would be a complete impact on our way of life, our quality of life, our ability to pay our mortgage.
Okay, so then that comes down to realistically for you, that's $120,000 a year
after taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if you're looking at your investments and you're looking at, okay, if something were to happen to you, 3 years, 4 years. Is that what it's going to take for things to get back to normal? You need $500,000.
Exactly.
Where the hell are you going to find $500,000?
There goes my 401k. There goes my IRA. Right. I'm going to take out a loan. I may refinance the house.
Sell the house.
Right. And then I recover 4 years later. Right? And now I've got all this high income debt. I've got these loans.
Well, hold on a minute.
Can I even keep the house for that long?
Let's go completely different. What about all of the medical care and the medications and all of the stuff that goes along with not being healthy?
Right.
That's a whole other thing. You could be in hospice.
Indeed.
And now you're $6,000 a month just to be in hospice.
What's mind-blowing is more than half of all bankruptcies in the United States are for healthcare costs.
Are you serious?
More than half.
I didn't know that you could even BK on healthcare.
Well, the problem with it is that it doesn't cancel out the debt. It just enables Medicaid to start paying for your bills.
Oh, no kidding.
The problem is that they'll still only pay about 80%. Well, they'll pay for all of your medical bills, but for any of your long-term care needs, if you need assistance with daily living, right, whether it's getting in and out of bed, eating, going to the bathroom, continence, moving around your house, right, if you need help with any of those things, then you need long-term care. You either need to be in a facility or you need someone in your house or you have a dependent that's going to be there taking care of you. Which one of your kids is going to bathe you and wipe your butt for you? You know?
No, seriously.
Which one of your aunts or uncles or your cousins?
No, my wife works for the state of California, and she works in the IHSS program. She does the trainings and goes to the different counties and talks to the counties and teaches them the policies and how everything works. So no, I'm very, very encompassed in how it works from a state level.
Right. So you know someone who's receiving long-term care.
Lots of people.
How much is that costing them right now?
They're actually getting paid for it.
Oh, amazing.
Through the state of California has the IHSS, in-home supportive services.
Good. Did they have to be below the poverty level for that?
No, they don't. They have to have somebody that can actually do the work, and they're essentially an employee of the state.
Oh, okay. So they have a relative that got kind of licensed as a caregiver, and now the state is paying that caregiver to care for them
through the program.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's so great. But they still had to give up their own career to do that.
No. But the caveat is all of that new income is now tacked on top of the income they're making from their job. So now they're in a new tax bracket, and their taxes are wild.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they are owing, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year in taxes because, all this, they have job income and they have, their Venmo that they have to put in there, and then they have their IHSS and all these different incomes, and they're making, $120,000, $130,000 a year, and it come tax time, they're not getting anything back. They're paying.
Wow.
So a different problem. Right. But there are things available. Yeah. So what I want to touch on is, where do you come in? Because we have to start to wrap. Where do you come in into helping these people facilitate and protect themselves financially, and what can you provide?
Well, I like to start at the basics, the ground layer, which is protection. How do we identify any one event that can wipe out your retirement savings? How do we mitigate that risk, right? So we're going to take a look at your homeowner's insurance. How much liability do you have on that? What does it cover? How much coverage do you have? Is it enough, right? Do you have expensive things in your home? Then you need homeowners 3 insurance, and you need to have those things on there, right? So
guitars, pianos.
Let's mitigate that risk. Your vehicle insurance. Do you have enough liability coverage? Do you have enough umbrella coverage if you're a business owner?
Do people even know what umbrella coverage is?
Most people don't. They just assume it's for certain specific people, and it's for everyone. It's for anyone who wants to prevent themselves from getting sued and losing all of their retirement savings or their house or all of their assets in the process, And if you have anything to do with people, then you should get some umbrella insurance. It's super cheap, and it can protect you from millions of dollars of
and
liability.
The argument is people say, well, I already have car insurance and homeowners insurance, renter's insurance, life insurance. This is an addition to that. This is the everything.
Right.
This is the everything else insurance.
Everything else.
And so my understanding, and I know that you can't, for compliance reasons, you can't get into a lot of things, but my understanding is umbrella insurance. Let's say you're parked at the golf course. You got your golf clubs in the back of the car. Somebody busts the window out. They steal your golf clubs. You don't want to put it on your car insurance. You can't put it on your renter's insurance. That's your everything else insurance. That would be covered by your umbrella insurance.
It can, potentially.
Okay.
Yeah, and alternatively, you hit that golf ball and it hits someone in the head.
Oh, yes.
And they sue you
that's a whole nother
for
animal.
it. It covers your attorney fees. It
were
covers
at,
your court costs. It covers your lawsuit.
We were at the celebrity golf tournament in Tahoe a couple of years ago. Jerry Rice is out there and he hits a ball and hits a kid with the ball. The kid's screaming and he runs over. He's like, I can only imagine, don't sue me, don't sue me, don't sue me. And he walks up and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me give you a free private golf tournament,
Session.
lesson.
Lesson.
Yeah, lesson. He's giving like a 4-year-old a golf lesson.
That is hilarious. The dad is like, I'll take it.
Yeah, he's like, here, sign the golf ball.
Don't worry about the kid. Just sign here.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, so that is one of those things that can wipe out your wealth. And it's completely unexpected and out of left field. You know, things like, do you have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage?
Yeah.
Because not everyone has insurance.
Oh my goodness!
And
we see it on the highway
need
all
to
the
be
time.
covered. Your insurance covers other people.
Yeah.
You need insurance that covers you from other people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. So take a really holistic view into someone's actual life, find out what are the riskiest things. Like your bathtub is one of the riskiest things you can stand in, right? And so how's your health insurance? How's your deductible? Right?
Yeah.
How much are you at risk in a copay or deductible if something does happen like that?
And do you even have enough money for the copay or the deductible? And a lot of people don't.
Exactly.
That's terrifying.
Right. And now with new laws that are enabling more access to HSAs, where health savings accounts, people on things like the Bronze Plan can now put money into an HSA, which is the only triple tax-free account that exists on the planet, basically, where you can put pre-tax money into it, grow it tax-deferred, and spend the money pre-tax without paying taxes on it, as long as it's on qualified.
Are you borrowing against it so you're not paying tax?
No, it's paying for the hospital fees directly, and therefore it's coming out without being taxed.
Interesting.
So that's one thing. Like, do you have a Bronze Plan? Do you have a high deductible premium plan? If you do, you should leverage an HSA, put the difference into it. And
we have state of California medical insurance, which I guess is really good. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the silver plan, basically.
Yeah, my wife, she handles all that side of it, and she says, it really doesn't get any better than this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the biggest benefit out of it is using it. Yeah. You know, like if you're not using it on the regular, quarterly, semi-annually, right, then you're not getting the value out of it.
I had an emergency surgery done. They had to remove my gallbladder, and I went in for an ER visit. I think I only paid the ER copay. I didn't even have to pay for the surgery.
Right?
Yeah. But we do have $600 a month coming out of the check every month for the insurance.
It's significant, but when you don't have to pay $150,000 bill, like it's all immediately worth it. Yeah. Immediately, because if you were putting that money aside every month, you weren't going to be able to accumulate enough to pay for that,
cover it.
Right? So you need to pool your money together with other people to have enough accumulation to pay for those things.
Yeah, that's way over my head.
And then, okay, your income. We were talking about that for a second. What's the risk of you getting sick and not being able to work for 5 years?
Yeah.
Right? What's the impact to your retirement when you don't have an income for that time frame? So how do we mitigate that, right? Let's talk about solutions for that. The second is, what happens if you live too long?
That's a big one, dude.
It's happening.
Yes.
That is a huge issue in the United States right now. People are surviving through their retirement funds. They're needing long-term care or being in a retirement home. And not only do they no longer have any retirement money, they don't have money to pay for the care.
Yeah.
And if they have just enough money, then they're even in a worse situation because Medicaid won't help them pay for those costs.
Because they have too much income.
Because they have too much money. So right now, a majority of those 50% of people that are bankrupting in the United States because of health issues, a good majority of those are doing it because if they go bankrupt and fall below the poverty line, Medicaid will start to pay for 80% of long-term care costs.
Interesting.
And that's the only way you can get long-term care costs covered without going completely out of pocket or without previously having some sort of long-term care benefit.
So what I'm going to say is, for everyone listening, if you've listened to this for 25 minutes, you've heard the risks, you've heard what Mr. Brian Bearden can do for you. Give him a call. Have that conversation. At the very, very least, you're going to get some information. You'll probably learn a couple of things. 916-936-9236. 916-936-9236. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I'm in this business because I want to help people, because I want to make friends, and I want to help people do that thing that I always wanted growing up, which was financial stability. You know, that thing that seemed so elusive that will it ever happen? Will I ever be financially stable to the point where I have a plan for retirement? If you start today.
If you start today. You'll do just fine if you start today. If you're 80 years old, you still start today. Yeah. 916-936-9236. Brian, thank you for being here.
Pleasure meeting you, Quinn.
Absolutely. And then, of course, John Poindexter was the referral. And so
thanks, John. Shout out to John.
Yep,
this
absolutely.
guy's amazing.
And he's going to be on the cover of, I think it's the November issue. I might be wrong, but go to the website, AWEPRA, and you'll see his cover up there. He's going to be joining us on the cover here pretty soon. So thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.